So for this next part, we are going to open up the model JPEG file. So go to your bridge and open it up, and we are going to go from this image to this one, kind of thing, a little retouching. Okay, so go ahead and get the model opened. Again, because we don't want to touch the original image, go ahead and duplicate the layer and name it Retouched. Now a few things with this one. The most tools we are going to use will be our dodge burn. But before we continue, we need to find out the levels or maybe add a little bit of contrast to the image. Her skin is pretty flat, so we're gonna start with curves. So adjustment layer, select curves. Now one thing, we're gonna try to do like a lazy S curve on the curves. So where we're clicking would be on the top, and then drag that up, and then right there. So notice where I'm at. I'm actually not dragging the top one too much, like the bottom one really a lot. It doesn't even look like an S, because if I do, it won't look right. So you can preview the eye, see the difference. Just very tiny difference in the middle. Okay, something like this. Notice where I'm positioned the points. Okay, not too contrasty, because I know some of the projects I've been looking at for Wednesday have been too much contrast. Everybody good? Then next thing, so it should be looking a little bit brighter, but you know, really it's about the eyes. So we need to whiten those eyes. Go ahead, select dodge. First, go ahead and select highlights. 25 exposure. So dodge highlights 25 exposure. Reduce the brush size, and you can click on the whites first and see if it's gonna work okay. And then inside her eye. Now if it doesn't, we are gonna switch to midtones and then go again with midtones. Okay, and I will increase my exposure to maybe 40%. Right. So first go into her whites of her eyes. Now make sure you are on the right layer, retouched. If you are not on a retouched layer, it will not do what you want. Okay, so make sure you're on a retouched layer, and then what next after the whites, you whiten them up. Go ahead into her eye color and whiten it up, make it really bright. Really nice and bright. So you can see the difference. So that's before, after. And I also brighten up a little bit of her inner rim in her eye. Kind of here, like the waterline. I don't know if you guys know what a waterline is. This is it. Here. So I'm whitening that up as well. Okay, after you do that, we are going to sharpen the eyes. So select the sharpening tool, and then go ahead, go into the eye and sharpen it up. On both eyes. Just go around, sharpen it. You don't have to over sharpen, just a few times to make them really stand out. So we are going to do a few things with the lips. I want you to select the dodge tool again. Everybody got it? Dodge tool. Then midtones is fine. We will lower the exposure to 20% for the midtones. So midtones 20% dodge tool. And then we're gonna go in her lip. Be nice if I can go in it. And then lighten it up. So just go, and what we want to focus on, this is kind of what I call the ombre lip. We want to go lighter in the middle, going darker progressively. Okay, so very subtle, very low exposure. If you heavy-handed with your brush, change that to a 10%, okay? I'm kind of light with it, so I'm okay. So we're gonna go lighter on them from the center and darker progressively, kind of like a transition of color. And make it look natural. Don't make it look like... And don't go too white. Like, her lip shouldn't be too white. If your lip comes out white, then you have to go in history and go back in time. It has to be enough of not too white. So what we're gonna do is, she has a little bit of wrinkles, the smiley, she smiles a lot, and then dark circles. So for larger area, notice what happens if I would use the spot healing brush. It kind of doesn't look right. I don't know if it shows on the projector. It blends it. So what you want to do is select the patch tool. Notice what I'm selecting. I need you to see first. We're going to go this area. Notice how much. Patch tool, you don't want to be too small. And then you sample right below it. You don't go here. You don't go here. It's going to be too blotchy. Right below when it's smooth. And boom. It's nice and smooth. Okay. Then we're going to go to this side. And then go on that. Okay, and then you have to do it a few times. So go ahead and sample that and make it smoother if you need to. Again, only look at the color right below or around it. Do not go any other shade, otherwise the image will come out blotchy and it has to be pretty smooth. So I'm using the patch tool. The other side to worry about, we have some hair. Now you can either remove, now this tool will not work well here. Okay, because we have hair. So the tool that you want to use for the hair around the wrinkles here is the healing brush tool. Everybody watching me? So healing brush tool, even if you're working it, watch me. And then here we will first sample the clear color that we want. Oh, no brush. So hold my option key. And then I go into it, around it, and sample that, okay? So I'm selecting the very smooth color in a cheek, and then go painting around the hair. So it should look nice and smooth. So I'm using the healing brush, not the spot, just the healing brush. Okay. Now for this area, is yours looking okay? Very good. Now for the one that has the black in it, I will try to see how the patch tool will work. So I will use the patch for this one. And let's see. Okay, I just need to clean it up more. That will work. Now here it doesn't work, so it's just playing around with the tools. So go ahead, again, do not make it look like it's blotchy, otherwise it will look wrong. So here I have to do some healing. Now you have the change, look at this, from the patch you also have options, normal or content aware. So if you're having issues, change the option to content aware and move it. Okay. It may look okay, it may not, so you just have to play. Back. So I went back because my content aware didn't look good. I was about to sneeze. Okay. So try to go in detail around her face, her eye. And see if it's gonna do it. So mine is pretty smooth. It's a little bit dark on there. That's okay, as long as you have it pretty smooth. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's okay if it's a little dark, like I have it. Okay, so don't worry if it's not perfect. We need to go from this to this. Okay. On this side, try to make it really smooth, but this one, you don't have to be perfect. Next step is removing that hair from her eye, especially the eye color. What tool you think is gonna look best on that one? Clone stamp tool, right? Other tools don't heal it right. I tried them on my earlier class. It seems the clone stamp tool works best. So I'm going to choose the clone stamp tool. Click on the areas around, like here, and then click back. You see? Very small increments. So I'm using the clone stamp. I'm sampling the area around it. So clone stamp tool to remove the hair. And notice when I'm sampling right next, close to it, right next to it. Very small brush. Going to do now is add a little bit of saturation to her cheeks. Again, she's not a clown, so notice where I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna use the sponge tool. Flow is 30. My brush size will be, oh, I don't know what I just did there. My brush size was gonna be maybe 125, 100. And I just go around, very low flow. Now don't make her look like a clown. Not too bright, just a tiny bit, okay? Just gently. If you're too heavy-handed on this, now I went a little bit more because of the projector. Then go the flow, reduce the flow, okay? Very gently. So we have some color on her cheeks. Now we need to highlight some areas. So go back to the dodge tool. Now increase the brush size to 70. Exposure we're going to do is 10. And it should affect midtones if you haven't have that selected. And then we're going to do very light through her nose, okay? Just lightly, don't go too much. Okay? Just maybe twice or 3 times. And then increase the brush size to 125 and do middle of her forehead. Kind of clicking around. Okay? Then with the same brush size, go right where you have, you notice here, the highlight. Don't go here. You want to go kind of right here, around this area here. And then maybe reduce the brush size and go around the eyes, make them lighter. Kind of bring a little lightness. Now, this all should be very smooth. That's why the exposure needs to be 10% only. Don't go too high on the exposure, won't look right. Okay. Then we will add a little bit of light on her, right above her lip. I reduce my brush right there, a little bit of shade. Okay, and on her chin, do not touch this side, only here a little bit, okay? It's very small amount of highlight. So it looks like we are doing contouring. Highlight it, now we're going to shade. So change your tool to burn. We're gonna keep exposure at 15, mid-tones range. Let me see if it works. I'm gonna try. Yeah, and you want to go, maybe actually no, I'm going to go to 10. Just undid what I did. 10. And what you want to do, I know this is like contouring. You want to go and add very tiny line on this side of the nose. And this, kind of where it goes around, you see? So add a little bit of line with 10% exposure and then at the tip of the nose. Just right here, very tiny. It's not one of those makeup that goes bad, you know, sessions. Then add under the lip. For ladies, I'm teaching you how to contour. Okay. And then add a little bit under the lip. And then increase the brush size to around 60. And then go right here, like right, see where I'm putting it right there? And then on the other side too. So you're creating those cheekbones, you're exaggerating them. This is what they do in magazines and advertising. It might be useful for your next project. So, okay. So something like this. Go back to the dodge tool. 10% exposure is good, but change the range to highlights. With 10, maybe 10 will work. Go very small brush. My brush size is 30. And just paint on like the strand. Now 10 is actually a lot still. I'm gonna go even lower. I'm gonna go like 6. So just brush it on. Make sure you don't do this. Okay? You wanna go nice strokes of hair. Like long. Just bring some highlight into it. Okay, and when we are done, you can save your file. You are done with this file. We haven't saved yet, apparently, so we have to. This is, which one is that one? C. Okay, I believe you. So C.